Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So I have got my eldest in the room today. If you can hear some tapping in the background, they're just trying to learn Blender. So there you go. So Pisces, I've got quite a lot intuitively for you, and your reading's quite interesting. It seems like quite a relatively clear message. If I don't know the exact situation, I can see. I think it's a message that's coming through quite clearly, so I'll kind of talk you through the cards in a moment. I'm reading ahead for June, so this may not make much sense at the moment, but if you want to, okay, sorry, I was just being shown what something might be. If you, that really threw me. I'm so sorry. So I'm reading ahead for June, so if it doesn't make very much sense right now in the moment, if you just kind of keep these things in mind or come back to them as reference points. If you come back to it later in June, it may make more sense. So what I have for you, I don't think I know was the first thing I heard for you. And with this King of Water here as well, I don't know if it's you or if it's somebody that you're dealing with in June, but it's somebody who's kind of very deeply spiritual. They really have a strong intuition, a strong sixth sense. They do know how to communicate with their spirit guides. They know how to manifest. It could be sort of like magician energy, possibly, because that is something that was kind of coming through my own deck off camera. And especially because you do actually start here with magic and manifestation. So tapping into the ability to manifest things, possibly. And this person could be helping you do it, or this could be you. But yeah, and like, I don't think I know. So I've wrote down deep spiritual knowing. It's like being very confident in your own intuition, being very confident in your own understanding of kind of like the subtleties of situations. You know, even if people aren't necessarily saying something, it's kind of like being able to pick up on the undertones, especially with like the King of Water. He's like under the water, so it's like undertones. I don't know. It's like subtleties, like things in the hidden realm, something like that. And then I heard she's very dark, but she uses it for light. So what I was kind of seeing with someone with a very dark aura around them, if I just kind of show you, kind of this guy's got this kind of like black circle behind him and then this gold behind him. So it's somebody who kind of like works with both light and shadow, and they know how to transmute that energy. It is making me think of Libra's reading, but it could be anyone, any sign, right? And it could be an aspect of you. So it's like maybe somebody reads your aura and they're like, your aura is really black. It was the kind of way it was coming through. It's like, you know, you've got a lot of shadow in your aura. So a lot of the time, normally people say that you need to kind of cleanse energetically. You need to do like use crystals. You need to have a salt bath. You know, you need to go outside and touch grass, you know, and all that kind of stuff to kind of like cleanse your aura. But this was almost someone who was intentionally holding darkness in their aura and not cleansing it because they were working with it. It's like not in a bad way. It's not like they were kind of like doing satanic rituals or anything like that. It's like a really good example is I've been rewatching the TV show with it's called like Tyler Henry. Is that his name? I think he's called Tyler Henry. He's like a Hollywood medium, and one of the people he was talking to was this. She was a private investigator. And I thought that's the perfect example. That is exactly what I was seeing, because you could see it. You could see it in her face, kind of like the things that she had to investigate. You know, the stories, people's stories that she was dealing with. You know, she must have seen so much pain and suffering, and you know, evil in the world, and yet she was helping people, right? She was doing a role where she was constantly dealing with that dark energy, but she was doing it because she was trying to, you know, find out what had happened to people or track people down or, you know, like give people answers. So that was the perfect example of kind of somebody who's working constantly with like dark energies, but doing it because they're trying to bring some justice and light into the world. So this could be something that either you, like this could describe you in June, or it could be, again, somebody that you're kind of like working with. I've got Scorpio and Pluto coming through for you. So this energy of kind of like knowing and discovery. So very high priestess energy, if you understand the meaning of that card. And again, don't worry about the specific signs that I mentioned. It could be somebody that you're dealing with. It could be an aspect of your own chart, because we're not just our sun sign, right? We've got moon, like rising, Venus, Mars, all these different placements that are affecting us at different times and gives us kind of that more complex personality. And also, if you look at your birth chart, you've got 12 houses, right? And each of these 12 houses is ruled by one of the signs. So you are actually all signs of the zodiac, not just one sign, just to kind of clarify for anyone who wasn't aware of that. So whatever's going on in your chart with Scorpio and Pluto energy, Plutarch, maybe somebody's studying Plutarch, I don't know. That's a ancient, I want to say ancient Roman, but I feel like he was Greek. I'm not sure about that. You can Google it if you're curious. I'm trying to remember. There was a lot of P names. Maybe somebody's name starts with P. That could be something. But yeah, it's like, again, it's funny that I mentioned the private investigator, right? Because that's kind of Pluto's job in the zodiac. It's this deep dive of discovery and kind of asking questions and analyzing. It's a very kind of knowing things on a deeper level type of planet. And this is obviously an aspect of Scorpio. And what's funny is you do have, and I'm definitely seeing a tie-in with Aquarius's reading, by the way. There's a few different things that are kind of saying Aquarius to me. So if you're on the cusp, or you've got a lot of Aquarius in your chart, or you're dealing with an Aquarius especially, go and check out that reading, because there was this thing about like filling up somebody's cup, but you know, like people having cups of different sizes. I don't know, that's starting to sound weird. But yeah, you've got this time for a deep dive, right? So it's like, look further into this. So Aquarius had this thing about the white swan, and you're the white swan in my photograph. So again, that's kind of why I'm referencing them. But it's time for a deep dive. And under that is moth spirit, surrender now. So it does feel like a really deep dive into your own psyche, a really deep dive into your, they showed me a person in front of a mirror. So it could be that you need to do self-reflection, right? It's like self-reflection, a deep dive into your own spirit, something like that. Yeah, because you've got things as well like let me just kind of show you these cards, like repairing the veil, forgiveness, solitude, and home. So it feels like being at home, kind of like, see this little gap as well, this is kind of giving Virgo energy. Being at home, kind of forgiving yourself. Maybe if you're not in a place where you can forgive others yet, like working towards that. And if it's not forgiveness, it's like being able to let go, being able to, because you've got surrender now, right? So it's like being able to surrender any anger or resentment or pain or sadness to spirit. So yeah, it looks like you are doing this with like help from perhaps your spirit guides or somebody that you're connecting with on the astral. And the reason why I say this is because you've got this journey card, right? So it's like almost visiting someone in the astral is kind of how it's looking to me. And then like this and this as well. So it's like, it's almost like two people meditating and having like a psychic connection is the way it's looking to me. It's like the owl is almost like the messenger, and you have like this owl card over here as well. So yeah, like this shared wisdom, like, and again, it's coming through as with all this water, it's coming through as kind of psychic. Yeah, it's like meditation. So yeah, you've got Nigeria. Could be something for you. It could be maybe somebody's from there, maybe this is coming up in conversation, maybe you're traveling there, but specifically it could be referencing so I've got this, let me just show you. She's a little bit dusty. I do need to kind of respect her a little bit better, but she's got a dream catcher on her neck at the moment. But this is my Nigerian Ayoba, and it means Queen Mother. So it's like, if I understand correctly, again, I'm not an expert, but I believe that her headdress is kind of that of the Ayoba. And so the Ayoba was the Queen Mother of the Kingdom of Benin. So it's Edo, and yeah, so there could be something like maybe a mother who's treated like a queen. Maybe there's something about the Queen Mother, which would be the queen who's passed over, so I don't know how that works, but I don't know, I'm getting it. It's a no. There you go. Do what you want with that. Also something about James Bond and Ian Fleming, and possibly he's got this book about diamonds that's not actually a James Bond book. It's more, so again, just throwing that out there if that makes any sense to anyone. Somebody could be pulled into a garden in June. It's like somebody's pulling you out into a garden. it could be a dog pulling you out into a garden. Somebody could feel quite rushed. Be careful because somebody could have an unexpected fall. It could also mean unexpected fall also could mean something happening that's unexpected in autumn. Could be something about elevators. It could be something about rings or phones, obviously because phones ring. Pay attention. Don't get distracted, especially if you're driving. Don't answer your phone while you're driving. That's a big one. You've got a lot of warnings about cars in your reading. There could be something about snakes and somebody who's going for the jugular. So this is like kind of like a going in for the kill energy. I don't know if this is somebody that's negative that you're dealing with in your environment, but again, just hand it over to spirit. Spirit can deal with that for you. I had this thing about no poison left. It's like, you know, somebody who's it's almost like a toothless bite kind of thing, or like, you know, when like a snake's been milked, it's like it's got no venom left. So it's almost like somebody who's been so vicious that they've run out of steam in a way. It's like they've run out of, it's like the bite doesn't hurt you anymore. Maybe you've got you've kind of built up a defense to somebody's kind of toxicity. You know, it doesn't hurt you anymore, something like that. It's like it could shock you, and it could obviously not be comfortable, but it's like yeah, I don't know. Obviously, if you do get bitten by a snake, do go to hospital and get some medical treatment, because I don't take my advice for that one. That's kind of like a serious thing. It could be something sexual. Snakes to me symbolize male anatomy. Somebody could be very into neck biting. Be careful if you're getting into a new... this is a big one here, because it's definitely something that I'm seeing in this reading that I'm not going to call out explicitly, but if it's your situation, I think you'll know it. If you're getting into a new romantic situation, perhaps a new sexual situation with a new person, don't rush it, because it could become quite toxic if it's rushed. You do have this slow and steady card here, so you kind of like approach the situation cautiously, get to know each other, take it easy. Yeah, don't get too excited, because you've got the Page of Fire here, so somebody could be a little bit too enthusiastic. Just, you know, slow down, you know, get into that with the energy, right? Get into this calm, like soft, supportive, safe energy before you kind of like get into the kind of Page of Fire energy, I want to say. Oh, I've really bothered my neck. Could be something about a magic show or sleight of hand. I wrote aqua with that. I'm not sure why, so it could be something to do with Aquarius. Can't remember why I wrote aqua. But yeah, a magic show. So it's like sleight of hand. Oh, that's why, because Aquarius's reading had this thing where it's like somebody had like something in the hand, and somebody walked into the room and they were kind of like hiding what they had in the hand. So sleight of hand, magic show, things are not as they seem. Zombie by the Cranberries. So this again was bringing me to Cars, if you know the reference with that song and Cars. So just be very careful, especially around children and cars. I've been getting... So I've got a lot of back pain this morning. I do think it's my own back pain, but again, anything that happens in or around a reading can be part of the reading. But I've specifically felt spirit touching my legs. I keep getting like this sensation of somebody touching my legs, and kind of like all yesterday evening and like all this morning, and my shins are hurting. And I did have a dream where somebody fell and hurt their legs, so just be very, very careful, especially perhaps if you're working around elevators and things like that. Don't kind of mess around. But also around cars. So I was also getting, and here it's where I don't want to be like, excuse me. Okay, so yeah, I had, and I don't want to scare anyone. This isn't like a we don't talk about Bruno kind of thing. You know, I feel like what's going to happen is going to happen, whether I say it's going to happen or not. Obviously, do be careful about speaking things into existence. But again, if spirit wants me to give people warnings and heads up to avoid bad situations, I'm going to do that. But it could also be something... So, right, I'm going to just explain to you what I'm getting. So I was getting paraplegic. Now, the word paraplegic, I had to Google it because I wasn't 100% sure exactly what it meant. I knew it was something to do with disabilities, and I actually thought it meant something more to do with like prosthetic legs. It makes me think of like the Olympics, right? The Paralympics. But I've looked it up, and it specifically means somebody who's they've not got any sensation from like the waist down. So it's interesting that I was getting the back pain and the leg pain. If you have any pain in these areas, do get it checked out. But I was kind of getting, it could be something about raising money for charity for some of you. You know, maybe for people who do have who are paraplegic, or who do have who need prosthetic limbs or something like that. It could be that you're raising money for them, you know, walking for charity, these kind of things. It could also be something about the Paralympic Games or the Olympic Games. Paralympic Games are August 28th to September the 8th. So again, there could be something about those two dates, August 28th or September the 8th. So make a note of those days. They could be significant for you, or something in that time frame. Yeah, 2024 though, so next year. There could be something about South America. Now, I was really confused because it kind of came in with paraplegic. So I was thinking, oh, are the games being held in South America? But they're not. They're being held in France. Also, the Winter Olympics are going to be held in Italy in 2026. So again, any of these things could be relevant to somebody. But yeah, South America, I was getting Mala Mia, which I think is my bad, which makes me think of Clueless. You know, that scene where she's driving the car and she's like, whoops, my bad. So again, just be really careful in cars. Don't get distracted. Don't answer your phone. Cool kids. Somebody could have some really cool kids, but they actually saying that song, driving cars, but they don't know where they're going, and in the fast lane. So it's like people who are kind of like, people who are living the life, and I mean, it could literally be like cars and speeding. So again, just be really careful. But it could just be something about like, you know, people who, it's like they're running around, but they're not really, they don't have an end goal in mind, right? Something like that. Coming down by Halsey could be something. Maybe somebody's coming down. Maybe somebody's coming down from somewhere. You know, like if you say, I'm going up north, or they're coming down to visit. So somebody could be coming down to visit. Ballroom Blitz by Carrere, Tia Carrere, the Wayne's World version. So somebody could be called Tia or Wayne. That WW again, which keeps on coming through. I keep getting references to WW, so it's like www dot. And she says, my dreams are getting so strange. Now, I did have two really weird dreams last night, and they were quite upsetting. It took me a while to settle back down to sleep afterwards. I know, shout out my Pisces friend who's been having odd dreams. So that definitely makes sense to me why that should come through in your reading. But I've underlined the line, so it says, my dreams are getting so strange. And so in Aquarius's reading, they had this thing about the word so, and it was really highlighted to me, the importance of adding the word so for emphasis. And also somebody's name could be SO, it could be significant other, so take that as it resonates. I saw Muppets dancing. So it looked like a scene from the Muppets. I don't know if it was like Muppets Christmas Carol or something, but I could see all, you know, like the Muppet Show, it's like all the Muppets were dancing. So I don't know if you're going to go out somewhere to like a club or something, and it's like, you're like, oh my god, look at these Muppets, you know, like it's like somebody's got them on strings kind of thing, like the way they're dancing. Maybe it's like silly dancing, or maybe just really silly people. I did get like this fight in a nightclub energy from that song. I was kind of seeing a fight in a nightclub, which was interesting because it did reference John Wick yesterday personally, and it was making me think of like Batman as well. And then, so the funny thing is, there's something about the penguin, because in the Batman, obviously when he goes to the club, he meets the penguin, and he's like in that environment. And John Wick as well, the guy in John Wick 4 reminded me of the penguin. So, and then when I went on Twitter this morning, I saw a post from a comedian that I follow on Twitter, and he was taking a picture with somebody who's cosplaying as the penguin. So it's like I've got all these penguin references. So there could be something specifically about penguins. Maybe someone's eating a penguin chocolate biscuit. I wanted to warn you, it'll turn into a ballroom blitz. So again, just be careful. You know, if you're in a situation where, you know, you're in a crowd, things are getting a bit heated, people are a bit drunk, you know, just exit that situation. Don't get involved in any kind of like fighting. I Want You by Tayla Parx. Sometimes I'm choosy or greedy or both. So indecisive. So that word so again, S-O. So indecisive, it's so hard to choose. I'm still trying to break some bad habits. So I had this feeling of someone being So it's kind of like, it comes across as player energy, but it's not exactly player energy. It's somebody who's looking for fulfillment, right? It's like they're looking for something. So it could be that there's a lot of tasty things on offer, right? I sometimes get this analogy of ice cream for Aquarius. It's like there's all these flavors of ice cream available. Why would you just stick with vanilla, right? It's like you want to taste all the flavors. It could come through with somebody who perhaps is dating, you know, they're kind of spoiled for choice a little bit. Maybe somebody who's out looking for romance, they're in a club, there's like lots of hot people, it's like, who should I chat up? So take that as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. But this thing about like being indecisive, so you could be dealing with a Libra, and Libras are very, very indecisive. Maybe somebody with Libra Venus placements. Hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. Libra Venus tends to be very, very loyal. They tend to be very, very Libra takes so long to decide that when they finally decide, they're very, very sure of the choice. If somebody who is watching this, or you're dealing with somebody who has a Venus in Pisces placement, Pisces can be very indecisive in love and in relationships, because they have this kind of all-encompassing love that's kind of like very, very deep, and it's kind of giving me like the flip side of Aquarius's reading, because Aquarius had this thing, and it's kind of coming through in your reading as well, with like, you know, the King of Cups. He's got so many feelings, he's got so much love, he's very deep, right? It was like in Aquarius's reading, it had this feeling of two people meeting, and one of these people, it's like they had a really big cup. I don't know, it's just coming through like rude. I don't know why. It's like, it wasn't coming through yesterday, and Aquarius is reading as rude. It's you, Pisces. I swear, you've got saucy energy. But it's like, you know, say, you know, you've got a big cup to fill, and it's like, it takes a lot of love to fill that cup. You know, a lot of affection, a lot of attention. You know, it's like you need somebody who's, you know, who's really deep to be able to like fully satisfy you. So I don't know if this is like a size thing. But it was coming through like somebody who was like kind of like maybe Leo energy. You do have a lion here, like somebody who's kind of like, you know, they were kind of attention seeking. You know, they needed a lot of love, a lot of praise, a lot of people to kind of admire them, because it was like all these people were just kind of like, you know, thimblefuls, or like pipettes filling up their big cup. So it's like, God, it's coming through so rude. So it's like, you know, meeting somebody who is equally as deep, right? A King of Cups meeting a Queen of Cups, and being able to like fill each other's cups kind of effectively is the way it was coming through. So yeah, and it's like, if you met somebody like this, if you just had a little tiny cup and you met somebody who was like really deep, you know, it's like they could easily overwhelm you, right? It's like, you know, one compliment and you'd be kind of like floored. So it's talking about you know, equal measure kind of thing with that. So it was coming through in your reading about somebody who's kind of like really looking for, you know, that emotional fulfillment, and perhaps having a lot of relationships, or, you know, trying a lot of different people. You know, everybody looks really attractive, everybody looks like a, you know, everybody looks like, you know, the one, until, you know, a couple of weeks down the line, a couple of months down the line, and it's like, no, this isn't satisfying me, it's not deep enough. And so it's like, you know, carrying on searching, this feeling of being very like, yes, this person goes on a lot of dates perhaps, but they're constantly left feeling unsatisfied. So I had this feeling of, and again, I don't know if this is you or somebody else, or just people around you kind of in your environment, but it was like meeting somebody who holds them accountable, right? It's like meeting somebody who, because it had this kind of like shifting energy. What was it? You won't just let me go and let you down, right? It's like somebody who calls them out on the bullshit, or somebody who, you know, holds them accountable. It's like, if this person's very wishy-washy, if this person's very kind of a bit Gemini energy perhaps as well, like they're always like shifting, you know, like sidestepping things. It's like, you know, calling them out and saying like, no, you said you'd do this, you said we'd meet on this day, you said you'd do this for me, I'm still expecting that. So it's like somebody who's like stands there longer than the rest, or something like that, because and I want to say it's because of love, right? It's like loving someone enough to stick by them even when they're being a dick, in a non-toxic way. It feels like a parental way. Oh, what have I got? Can't stop. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Somebody could have some sort of addiction. Can't stop. Addicted to the shindig. It could be somebody who's really like very, very sociable, right? They can't stop. They can't just sit at home. They like to go out clubbing or something like that. Addicted to the shindig. Um, I've been hearing this song all week. Specifically the line, "You can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read through." So it's like when the spirits are calling, you obey. So I was explaining this kind of when I was talking about so what it's like for me to be kind of a tarot reader and kind of an empath, a psychic, which still sounds strange to use those terms because I never planned this for myself. But it's like I can't force it, right? I can't force the messages to come through. So sometimes I'll do it where I'm like, I'm going to do love readings, and you know, the reading will be about somebody's work, right? It'll be completely not love related, or the readings just won't come through. They won't make sense. They don't feel satisfying. So it's like maybe this is like a metaphor for what this person's experiencing. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It could apply to other things. You know, somebody who tries a lot of different jobs and none of them are kind of like engaging them. None of them are satisfying them. Everything just feels kind of like pointless. So just take it as it resonates. But it was like, yeah, I was saying it's like, but sometimes I can not be planning on doing readings, right? Sometimes, because after Sagittarius's reading, I was intending to make Capricorn wait, because that's kind of originally what I was getting told. It's like, wait, Capricorn can wait till Monday. And then like something happened and I was like, oh no, God, I have to do Capricorn's reading right now. So it's that kind of thing of like, I thought I was going to kind of enjoy my weekend and not do readings and do other things. And it's like, I can't stop when the spirits need me. The messages are going to come, right? And if I don't do the readings, the messages build up, and then I get very overwhelmed. So it's like, it's really, the ball is in spirit's court here. Like I don't really have a lot of say about what comes through or who I'm reading for or when I read. It's just when I'm getting the messages and I'm called to do it and it feels right, that's when it's time to read. So I don't know if that makes sense to anyone either. Somebody could be called Margaret. I got the Lana Del Rey and Bleachers song Margaret. You could have a listen to that if you wanted to. But she says, when you know, you know, and maybe tomorrow you'll know. So again, if somebody's dating, it's like you can't force it, right? You can't hurry love, kind of thing. You can't force love if it's not a good fit, if it's not working, if it's not satisfying, then it's not meant to be. And you know, if you know you're on a date with somebody and you know you don't know, you know, you're not sat there going, this is the one, this is, you know, I'm feeling this. Then maybe tomorrow you'll know, right? Maybe the next date, maybe the next date, or the next job, whatever it is. So it also had this feeling of like, you'll know because you'll care in an emergency, right? So it's like if somebody's in trouble, you'll be running to this person and that's how you'll know. So something like that. Right, I think I'm going to just pause and take a drink of water and then we'll get into your cards. Okay, Pisces, I've got a confession. I've took my pants off. I'm sat here doing your reading in my underwear because I can't open the window because it gets too noisy outside and it's a really hot day. So I can't do it. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to put up with me. It's a good thing I'm not on camera, right? Okay, so again, another reason why I keep saying Aquarius is in your reading. You've got the King and the Sword and the King in the underlying, which is like the King of Swords, right? Which is Aquarius. So check out that reading if you're on the cusp, you're dealing with Aquarius. I always do get this. You know, the neighboring signs tend to kind of like interweave because you have people who are like on the cusp, you have people who are born kind of like mid-sign. So this happens sometimes, ignore it if it's not for you. But he was talking to me about high honor, because the king with the sword, so the king wields the sword, right? It's like, you know, if you think of the king, they normally have a sword as like a status symbol. You know, they normally have like a big kind of broadsword that's kind of like emblazoned with jewels. And this is kind of like, it's almost like a tool of the job, right? So yes, sometimes kings used to go and kind of have sword fights, you know, like they'd lead the army into battle. But to me in the reading it's normally more symbolic than that, and it's a symbol of somebody's high honor, their truth, things being out in the open, because I've also got the dagger, and the dagger talks to me about concealed, so the, you know, it'd be hard to hide a broadsword basically. So it does talk to me about integrity, truth, justice, all these kind of things. So I've heard it again. When I first pulled this card, I heard the king is coming, and it's here again. The king is coming. So it could also be like Elvis has left the building, because I also heard that. But it's like the king is coming, right? So maybe somebody's like an Elvis impersonator or something. So yeah, it's like whoever your king is, right? Whoever, whatever that means to you. So it doesn't mean like literally King Charles or something. It's like somebody in your life who, and it's probably the king of, it's strange because you've got the king of swords, right? But they're coming in your reading as the king of water, right? So they're coming in with this person's very deep, you know, they're very loving, they're very compassionate, they're a really good listener, and there's somebody who has that high honor and that truth. So that's really, really lovely. I thought at first, I don't know why that was so loud, sorry. I thought at first you had 2 people in your reading, but I'm starting to suspect you've got 3 people in your reading as the kind of reading went on. So you start off with magic and manifestation, which always talks to me about almost like 2 things coming together to balance, to kind of like to work with each other, and to kind of like emphasize each other, and to kind of like power up is the way it's kind of coming through. So magic, right? So magic is kind of coming through as like this earthy, just because of the symbology. Magic's coming through as something like spirit, because you've got these 2 purple dragons. So somebody who's very spiritual, somebody who perhaps is you know, they know a lot about kind of like social situations and people and emotions, somebody who's very intuitive, perhaps. Maybe it is the king of water. It feels like this person's magic comes from within. This person's magic is kind of part of who they are. But it does feel like, again, just because you have this thing about kind of because you had like solitude, this gestation period that looks like somebody kind of like sleeping. It does look like, you know, your guides coming to you in your dreams, or when you meditate alone, you get this kind of like inner knowledge. So it does look like connecting with this higher energy. So this could be a spirit guide for you, it could be someone on the astral plane, it could be, for the Starman card came out for me overnight. So my Starman is like one of my guides, and he comes through with like a lot of like, well, it's coming through as sacred geometry for you with this Mordwin, right? It's like it's kind of like the knowledge coming down into your hands. The reason why I'm saying that is because like all these purple dragons is like one dragon to me, and then this dragon is coming in with this kind of like sacred geometry kind of maybe somebody who understands birth charts, right? Somebody who knows a lot about astrology, about how the planets move. Maybe somebody who's very mathematically minded. So it could be somebody who's like very right side of the brain, left side of the brain, kind of thing like that. Like the 2 sides of the brain coming together, perhaps, like emotion and logic coming together to kind of like learn from each other in some sort of way. So yeah, when I get my kind of like Starman energy coming through, I get like stuff about physics and like, you know, how spaceships fly, and kind of like all kinds of like quarks and all these kind of physics terms, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna start googling not catalytic converters, what's that other one, like quantum stuff, and I can't even think of any of the terms. This is what I mean, it's not coming from my brain, it's coming from somewhere else. So yeah, it's like you know, this person coming in and kind of like adding to what you already know, adding to your magic is the way it's coming through, and you're kind of like working with spirit. So it is looking to me, originally, again, it could be 3 people, but it's originally, it was looking to me like so almost like, so you're this purple dragon, right? You're this person who's meditating, and then it's like this golden dragon or this owl, whatever this is, this spirit guide comes down and kind of rests. It kind of joins you. It's like 2 souls coming together, which is really kind of like confirmed over here, like 2 souls coming together. And that, because it looks to me like So you can see like it's almost like his heart's lit up with the gold. Can you see this? So it's like a spirit coming into you, right, into your heart. Because then you go to gestation period. So it's like, you see how it's all purple, but they've got this like gold inside them. So it's like, it could just be, you know, knowledge. And it's like you learn something, especially with the King of Swords, right? This could be somebody telling you a truth, telling you like a sacred truth. And it's like, you need time to sit with that, right? You need time to kind of like time alone, like solitude and counsel. Like you need time alone to kind of go and think that through, you know, think about what that means to you, like sit with that knowledge, and kind of gestate with it. You know, sleep on it. It could be somebody tells you something and you sleep on it, something like that. But it does feel to me like very, very spiritual, because you do have this nothing is wasted as well. So I don't know what that means to you. Vulture could be something symbolically for you. The meaning of this card is kind of like, when you understand life cycles, when you understand nature, when you understand how, you know, the leaves fall from the tree and they turn into compost for the new trees, and like, you know, how we all return to the earth, and kind of life cycles in that kind of way. That's kind of what it means. It's like, it also has this meaning of like, you know, everything in your life has had a meaning. Everything in life has had a purpose. Like, there wasn't like, what's that line, like, wasting time is not wasted time, right? Because when you're like, I lay in bed all morning this morning, right, and it's like I'm resting, I'm turning short-term memory into long-term memory, I'm, you know, rebuilding my energy, I'm thinking things through, I'm accessing my subconscious in dreams. It's like I'm not wasting time just because I lay in bed all morning. It's like I was doing something, right? Like spiritually I was doing something, kind of thing. So it's like, there's nothing's wrong, everything's exactly as it's supposed to be, something like that with that. So with gestation period, right, like taking in this knowledge, taking in this, the energy of this other, right, and trying it on for size in some sort of way, it is coming through like with a spiritual journey, but also this feeling of kind of like you miss them when they leave, like, because it's looking to me like they're sailing away, like they come and visit. So it could be somebody that you spend time with and then they leave, right? So maybe because you have that, they're coming down. So it could be a loved one coming to spend time with you and then you leave and you immediately start missing them. Or it could be, you know, a sibling, a parent, a loved one, somebody coming to stay with you. And like, you know, when it's like when they're with you, it's like you have this, hold on. So it's like, you know, when they come and spend time with you, it's like this, right? It's like really good. It's really cozy. You know, you have that Netflix and chill. You know, you love spending time with this person, right? It's like it's very loving. It's very healing. It's very comfortable kind of thing. So when they leave, you miss them. You know, when I don't know. So this journey card came with, an inward journey is a sacred journey. Now the word journey came through twice. You see I've written it on top of each other. So the journey card came through twice for, I want to say it was Libra. It could have been Sagittarius. I'm not 100% sure, but one of the readings had journey over here twice. So that could be something worth looking up. So yeah, it's like you have this gestation, winter's dream as well. There's been a lot of this wait until winter that's been coming through. So it could be, and like I'll be home for Christmas and all these kind of things. So it could be like, you know, going on a winter vacation with somebody, or because I was getting like the Winter Olympics, right? So it's like going on a winter vacation with somebody, getting a log cabin with somebody, you know, going, like maybe you're at uni, you go home for winter, something like that. So again, it's like it's because you've got home as well. So it's like, I want to say that this person or this place feels like home to you, or you feel like home to them. And it's very kind of like welcoming as well, because it's like King of Water, right? It's like very, there's so much love. And then it comes in with like all these cards, like King of Water, grace and generosity, love. It's like, it just feels really nice. Like it feels like home. It feels comfortable. You feel loved. Your cup is full. It's supportive. You know, it's this person's generous with their love, you're generous with your love. It feels really nice. So yeah, it feels like you are revived by this experience, because then it goes to like coming to life. So it does have this feeling of like kind of like an like there's been a lot of stuff about fertility and giving birth and things like that. So it almost is like, you know, the sperm and the ovary, not the ovary, the sperm and the ovum, ova coming together. Gosh, I need to go back to biology class. Where's my biology spirit guide? You know, coming together, and then like the gestation period is like the pregnancy, and then it's like the born kind of thing. But it could just be kind of talking about you know, shared energy. Energetically, these two come together, they spend time in each other's company, and then it's like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon again, right? It's like I've grown stronger, because it's followed by this love card, which looks like the strength card, right, with the woman and the lion. It's like I've grown stronger, I've grown in confidence because of this. It's like I've been nurtured, my emotional needs are met, is the way it's coming through, like coming to life. So again, it's like almost like a bear hibernating and then kind of coming back out, with a lot of love and deep understanding and just all this really gorgeous watery energy. It could be that somebody's moving home. It could be that somebody's moving home and they're moving across water. So it could be significant, like across to a different country, across a big body of water, just because of these three cards with the two boats and the turtle. Turtles can talk to me about moving home. So yeah, it's got this feeling of kind of like, I mean, it looks like the ship's coming in sometimes, but it also, because of this card, I kind of feel like it's like the ship's leaving. So it's like this person has to go away again. So it could be talking about kind of like, if it's two people from different countries, perhaps, you know, some, you know, people have like a short-term visa, so a work visa or something, or like a study visa. So it could be that somebody can come for 6 months, but they have to go back to their own country for 6 months, something like that. You know, they can't spend any more than 6 months in a country. Or it could like, yeah, I'm not sure, but it's this longing, right? The Eight of Cups always talks to me about longing. And then with balancing act, it's kind of like having to stay balanced, having to stay strong while this person kind of like leaves again. Like maybe they're going back to uni for another term, something like that. But these two cards significantly came out in a Sun Tarot reading, and I was really quite surprised that, because this card I've been seeing constantly throughout this entire set of readings, this card's been out over and over and over again, right? It's 11 as well. So two, like the balancing act, it takes two to balance out a situation, something like that. But it came out with this card in one of Sun Tarot's readings. So do go and check out at least your Pisces Sun Tarot reading. I can't remember specifically which reading it was in, but I remember her. I'm going to have to go rewatch myself to kind of try and see if I can find it. But she had these two cards. And so I was like, oh my God, Sun Tarot also had those two cards. So yeah, it's like, I can't remember what she said though. So I'm frustrated with myself. But yeah, it's like this, I'm not sure. But like I say, it does go to all this love, right? All this slow and steady wins the race. King of Cups, grace and generosity, benefactor, love. It's really gorgeous. Whatever it is, it's really, really gorgeous. And it's got this intertwining energy. So again, it's got this feeling of like two people meeting and their energies intertwining all through this reading, right? It's like, so their energies intertwine. Where else as well? Like, you know, these two, because it's like he's meeting this fish, like these energies intertwine. It's like suddenly you get very, very close. So it could even be somebody that you don't know very well, right? It could be somebody that you're only just meeting. But it's like you quickly become very, very close. Your energies very quickly become intertwined. So there's something about... Okay, I'll talk about this one. No, I'll talk about this one first. So Woodwives, adaptability. So it is talking to me about that kind of willow energy, about being flexible. I think maybe Sagittarius had willow. So it's like he's like, yeah, it's really like, you know, like even like fingers, like wrapping your fingers around this person's fingers, and you know, very, very close, like sexual as well, like limbs intertwined. It's like very, very twisted together. So energetically it feels like two coming together, because the Tree of Life tends to look to me like DNA. So again, it could be kids, but like DNA, or like two trees coming together, and trees talk to me about family, right? So two trees would be two people with their ancestry coming together, right? So yeah, you get it. But then again, it's got this kind of like, it's all over this reading. You see the imagery, like how she's kind of like coming to life, she's breaking out of this tree. So it could be about kind of like, what is that, like tree of life and adaptability. I don't know, it's coming through just as two people coming together, but the need to be adaptable, the need to perhaps be flexible with each other, right? Because you're two people from different places, different backgrounds, different wants, different needs, right? Two individuals, and as good as it feels together, it could be that you do have to do some bending in order to kind of fit around each other. So it could be like a schedule thing, like changing each other's, changing your schedules around, changing your work days around, who's going to watch the kids, if I work this day, you can have that day off, or maybe it's like, this is my schedule, that's your schedule, can you shift things around so that we can get a week off together? Or it could be, I like Marmite, I hate Marmite, okay, let's get jam. Something like that. We both like jam, let's not get Marmite at all. So it's like just learning to work with each other, but it feels like you do, and it feels like it's very, very easy. It feels like it almost comes naturally in some sort of way, and again, slow and steady, right? If you try and force a tree to bend, it's going to crack, but if you kind of like, it's almost like getting braces, right? Getting braces and kind of moving your teeth around, it's like you do it slowly and it takes time. So it's like, that's why it's important to do it slowly, because you don't want to kind of like break this, because it's so good. So again, with this kind of like twisting it around, like energetically twisting around, which is also here, there's something about this Andean cross. So it's like, it's looking to me, just because of like the placement of it, right? It's like, it's looking to me like there's this hole to get through, like there's this it's like a window. Again, it could be like your schedules, right? Like trying to schedule something into a certain window. So it's like, how do we both get through that gap, is the way it's coming through. And so it's like, it's coming through rude again. Like, I don't know what you guys getting up to, but I definitely keep on getting flashes of something. So yeah, it's like, one of the readings, I feel like it could have been Cappy, but I'm not 100% sure, had this thing about black holes, right? And it's like, when black holes have a different, they don't work like in terms of time like the rest of the universe does. Like black holes work in terms of space, I think, if I remember that correctly. So it's like, when something enters a black hole, it gets stretched out like spaghetti. So it's like, if something's too big to go through a narrow gap, you have to kind of slow down time, right? Slow down time in order to kind of like get it through kind of like slowly. And then Virgo had this thing as well about this window opening. And it was like, how, so you have the same thing as Virgo. So I don't know, you could be dealing with a Virgo. It could be that you've got Virgo placements at this time, but I'm seeing something very, very similar, because they had this thing about how do you pull that off, right? Basically Virgo's reading was like somebody with a horse and cart, right? A chariot. It's like they had two horses, they had the whole cart, it was full of stuff, and it's like, how am I going to get the whole thing through that narrow gap, right? So it's like talking about maybe like cars as well, like driving a car, how do I get the car through that narrow gap, how do I get a camel through the eye of the needle, kind of thing. And it was like, what they did was they unharnessed the horse, and they, instead of kind of getting the whole cart through, Virgo kind of like rode the first horse through the gap. So it looked like again, maybe somebody's going to like a magic act or a circus or something, because it did feel like, in Virgo's reading, and Virgo's ruled by Mercury as well, and it's the magician card, right? So it's like, how did they pull that off? How did they achieve that? It's like a magic trick, right? So it's like they managed to kind of like thread the needle. And it's talking to me, it was coming through as well, like there's games that you get at Christmas where it's like you get them sometimes in like posh crackers, where it's like two pieces of metal twisted together, and you can sit there for like hours and not be able to do it, and it's like you just want to kind of like pull the metal apart in order to get them separate. But it's like when someone shows you the trick, it's really simple, and it's all about how you line it up, and you line it up and you twist it the right way, and it just comes through. So for Virgo, it's coming through like, I don't know, trying to get a sofa through a doorway, right? It's like you've got to get the angle right, or getting a sofa up a flight of stairs, or like a wardrobe. It's like maybe you've got to get it through the window instead of the door. So yeah, it's coming through like, instead of trying to get the whole horse and cart through, you know, like whatever you're trying to get through that window, kind of like do it bit by bit, and kind of like, instead of having like one big bulk, kind of like have a string of people passing stuff through. So it seems like that's also in your reading in some sort of way. So yeah, it kind of has this feeling of, so if I show you these cards together, right, it's like, it's looking like the two of you, right, the two of you who are just absolutely comfortable and happy and just loving being together. And it's like this, it feels like this third person who wants to join. So it's the unicorn, third person wants to join. It's going to be a message for somebody. So it feels like, how are we ever going to get them through this? But I feel like it's like Virgo, it's like they just jump through the hoop, right? And it's like they do join you. And I've seen it as successful. One, because of the way that the horse is kind of rearing up, it kind of looks like it's going, yay. And then also because the following card after that is the Six of Fire, which is success. It's like, yay, you did it. Everybody cheering you on. So yeah, it's like somebody does it, right? Somebody achieves it. And I want to say it's very exciting because you've got the Page of Fire, which is about, this is somebody who's discovering things, right? This is somebody who's like experienced. This is the kid in the ice cream shop trying every single flavor of ice cream. It's like, or, you know, the person in the candy store, you know, if you know, get a candy shop. It's like, yeah, this is somebody who's experimenting, and it's experimenting creatively. So it's like, what happens if I take this and combine it with this? What happens if I take Tutti Frutti and combine it with chocolate? You know, it's like very experimental, very Sagittarius energy to me, Aries energy as well. So it's like, it's looking to me like just an opportunity to do something really exciting and fun, and it's going to be a learning experience. So it could be like an adventure, something physical perhaps. Then with the Holy Mountain, this is just really confirming to me, like the success, right? It's like you successfully overcame this obstacle. Because mountains to me can talk about obstacles in your path. Somebody else had this. They had like initiation, but then running into a mountain. It's like, how am I gonna, it's like I can't go around it, right? How am I gonna get over this obstacle? But I am seeing like a successful answer to this problem, because it's like the person's on top of the mountain, right? They're on top of the mountain. It's like, I did it, I achieved it, I'm up there, I grew to such height. So it could be like a, you know, a career thing, breaking the glass ceiling. This could be like, you know, breaking through the glass ceiling and kind of like reaching new heights. But what's really, really confirming to me is like that it's like you successfully overcame this obstacle, is because these two cards were part of they were part of your kind of like made up deck. Is I've got 7 decks and I kind of like shuffle them 3 times. The cards come out, I put them all back together and I reshuffle, and that gives me your reading. So like these two cards were part of the second shuffle, right? Your reading shuffle, but they fell off the table. And when something falls off the table, it's like we want to talk about this, we want to draw attention to this, but it's not part of the actual reading, right? So it's like you have the knowledge because of whatever this journey was, whatever this communion with spirit was, whatever this owl energy was representing, right? The manifestation energy. Maybe you have the knowledge of how to manifest. Like this owl's coming in to tell you the knowledge of how to get over this obstacle. And can you see as well, it almost looks like this thing lining up. So it's talking about, again, about like this thing lining up, this eye of the needle thing. So very, very similar to this, right? It's like you've got to jump through that hoop. So it's like when you learn the trick, very similar to Virgo, right? When you learn the trick of how to do this and you have that success, it's coming in with knowledge, because Holy Mountain as well is like achieving enlightenment as well. So it's something to do with like, can you see this literal sun? It's like harnessing the power of the sun, right? Something like that. It's like to get over the mountain, to get through this like hole in the wall. You have to utilize the power of the sun to you know, to fly over the top of it, because because again, it's like the boat, right? So it's like the boat's on the water and it's starting to take off into the air, and then it's like it's floating. So it's like maybe something was the wrong way around, right? Because it's like the ball, it should be above the ship, but the ball was below the ship there, and it had it teetering, right? It was a balancing act where it's like when you kind of like use it like a hot air balloon. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. So it's making me think as well of like just because it's like trying to get something through a, it's almost looking to me like, I don't know if anyone's ever played GTA, like GTA 5. And you can take, I don't know if you can take every character, I think you can, but me and my eldest took Michael to flight school, and it's like you learn to fly a plane. And so when you're learning to fly a plane, it's like sometimes they have these like hoops in the sky, and you have to like, you know, navigate the plane through the hoop. So it was making me think maybe this is like drones, you know, maybe somebody's got like a flying helicopter or a drone or something. It's like you have to line it up correctly, and then it'll go through, just because it's got that kind of like flying energy. And again, maybe it is, maybe somebody was like thinking, and like when my family go to Ireland, it's like, are we going to take the ferry, are we going to fly, are we going to take the boat, or are we going to take the plane? So it could be something like that. Are we going to take the boat, are we going to take the plane? We're going to have to take the plane because that's when all our calendars line up, that's when the flights are. Could be something like that. But yeah, so it's like harnessing the power of the sun. So just be careful. One way that I can read this, because unfortunately it's followed by the curse. So one way that I can read this is you have this knowledge, but the curse is that you can't share it, right? You have this knowledge, but you're not allowed to talk about it. So it could be like NDAs, something like that. It could also be, you know, something that is personal to you. Again, just kind of like the third person joining. Maybe this is like a getaway, and there's going to be some fun times, and maybe this is something you'd rather you kept to yourselves, right? It's like, but it's exciting. It's like you kind of want to tell everybody, but you can't tell everybody because it's kind of a secret. I don't know what you guys are up to. Like, I don't want to kind of like share all your secrets online. The thing with the King of Cups and like the High Priestess energy, that kind of like deep scorpionic energy, they know but they don't say, right? High Priestess, King of Cups, they have a deep, profound spiritual knowledge, but they are very secretive, or they're very kind of like it's on a needs to know basis, you know, it's something like that. It could also be because I was kind of getting this kind of energy of like Icarus flying too close to the sun, right? So if you think about the story of Daedalus and Icarus, Icarus was Daedalus's son, and excuse me, sorry, they wanted to escape this island where they were basically being kept prisoner. And Daedalus was an inventor. He was very, he had these mad inventions. He was very creative, you know, and he had that kind of like brilliant knowledge of invention. So again, quite Aquarian energy. And he invented kind of the wings, you know, the wax wings that Icarus famously used, but he flew too close to the sun. He didn't listen to the warnings. And then he kind of like fell and plunged into the sea. It's kind of like that was the curse kind of thing. It's like knowledge as a curse. Sacred knowledge as a curse, perhaps something like that, because again, it's if you have some kind of deep sacred knowledge, that is not a mundane thing, right? Not everybody has everybody has access to that knowledge, but whether they choose to access it or not, or stay kind of blinking and blind, that's another thing. So it's like you know, it can be isolating, right? It can be isolating to be perhaps a deeply spiritual person, to have deep spiritual wisdom, but find it hard to connect with other people on that kind of level. You know, most people have kind of light-hearted conversations, and you're looking for something deeper, something more profound, perhaps. So it could be seen as a curse in that way. There's also another story from kind of like classical mythology of, now, it's not Apollo, and I always get them mixed up. It's the god who rode the chariot, the sun chariot through the sky. Now, Apollo sometimes did this, but I think it was the other one. And I think it begins with H, but I can't specifically. Helio, right? Helios, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Nice. Eldest in the room coming in with that knowledge. So Helios, his son, so he always promised his son, like, you can ride my chariot one day. You know, you can ride the sun chariot. But was it that? It was something like, it was like he was a, I think he was like a secret child as well. I think he had a secret child. And his son was like, I will prove to you that my God is the sun, like my dad is the sun god, right? So it could be like somebody's dad's a Leo, something like that. I'll prove to you that my dad's the sun god. I'll prove to you, you know. So he went to speak to his dad. I was like, I want to ride your chariot. And his dad was like, you're a bit young, mate. Chariot, you know, it's a big, massive ball of fire. The horses are a bit skittish. Maybe when you're older, or like maybe I'll take you out for a ride. And he was like, no, I want to do it. So he steals the chariot, right? He steals the chariot that pulls the sun through the sky. And it's disastrous. It goes out of control. He goes too close to the ground. He ends up scorching bits of it. He flies up too high. Bits of the planet freeze. And like this is the story about why we have like the North Pole and the equator, right? Why parts of the world are hot, why parts of the world are cold, because Helios's son kind of like lost control of the chariot. So it could also be something like that. So just be careful. The Seven of Fire is about defending your position or standing your ground, but then you have success. You have success and you have enlightenment. And it's like it's like going again. So it's got this feeling of like something coming and going. Okay, so is there anything else? I think that's it, but let's get you a song to kind of close out the reading and give you some sense of direction of what to do next. I kind of was asking about this curse, and I got the song Get Down by Paul Johnson, which is that down, 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 down. So the lyrics are literally, sorry, there's a hair on my phone. The lyrics are literally just down, 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 down. So I don't know. Don't fall down, right? That's making me think of Scary Movie. You know, the parody of Scream, where it's like, right, the rules. Number 1, don't fall down. It's making me think of that. Okay, so a song for Pisces, please. I'm actually just going to take a second to just kind of like get back into the right energy. Hold on. Okay, so just asking for whatever song is going to have the most impact and kind of have the greatest good for Pisces for June. Someone else had this exact same song. I'm going to look it up. So Give It To Me by Timbaland. And it's funny because this is a collaboration of 3 people. Justin Timberlake, Nelly Furtado, and Timbaland. Is it going, is it going, is it going? I don't know what you're looking for. I'm the type of girl that'll look you dead in the eye. I'm as real as it comes if you don't know why I'm fly. I've seen you trying to switch it up, but girl, you ain't that dope. I'm the Wonder Woman. I feel like it was Libra's reading because I remember like Libra gives me Wonder Woman energy because Libra's the justice card in the tarot, and it's all about truth and justice and honor kind of thing. So like if I was going to assign a superhero to a sign, I would say that Wonder Woman was Libra. I'm the Wonder Woman, let me go and get my rope. I'm a supermodel, and mommy, see mommy. Capricorn has supermodel. Amnesty International got Bangkok to Montauk on lock. I don't understand that. Love my ass and my abs in the video called Promiscuous. My style is ridiculous. If you see us in the club, we'll be acting real nice. If you see us on the floor, you'll be watching all night. We ain't here to hurt nobody. So again, if you see us in the club, because I was getting that club, right? We ain't here to hurt nobody. Want to see you work your body. And then, so that's Nelly Furtado's bit. This is Timbaland. He's like the music producer. When Timbo's in the party, everybody put up their hands. I get $500,000 for my beach, you get a couple of grand. Never gonna see the day that I ain't got the upper hand. I'm respected from California all the way to Japan. I'm a real producer. That thing about crossing the ocean, right? So this could be somebody who works in California and Japan. I'm a real producer and you're just a piano man. Your songs don't top the charts. I ain't heard them. I'm not a fan. I nearly said that word. I'm so sorry. I don't want to say that word. It's not my word to use. The N word, talking greasy, and the one that gave them their chance. Somebody needs to tell them that they can't do it like I can. And then Justin Timberlake's bit is, so it does seem like 3 people, right? So I assume this is kind of like something about the energies of these 3 people. Could you speak up and stop mumbling? I don't think you came in clear. When you're sitting on the top, it's hard to hear you from way up here. Now, I saw you trying to act cute on TV. Just let me clear the air. We missed you on the charts last week. Damn right. That's right. You weren't there. If sexy never left, then why is everybody on my SHIT? Don't hate on me just because you didn't come up with it. So, yeah. So it's like the people acting nice, right? But maybe something's gone down where people are kind of falling out or they're moving on. Because I feel like Did Libra get promiscuous? Not promiscuous, that's the other Nelly Furtado song. It's not in my notes, but I feel like it was. Because Libra also had Therefore I Am by Billie Eilish, which has a similar vibe of like, oh, I'm not even going to mention you in interviews. I'm going to act like I don't know you. So, yeah, interesting. So it's like, it kind of has that energy of like finding your soul tribe or finding a collaboration of people that's based in kind of like love and support, and you know, you make each other feel loved, you make each other feel confident, you've got deep feelings for each other. It feels like a collaboration of three to me. Maybe two people meet up first and a third person joins. It feels like it doesn't have to be sexual, although it could be with the unicorn being there, but it feels like it could be like a literal collaboration, right? A literal, you know, like because Nelly Furtado, Justin Timberlake, and Timberland, like they kind of like collaborated on that song. So it's an opportunity for collaboration in some sort of way. Obstacles will be overcome. You will have the knowledge of how to do this. It will become clear to you. Again, it's something maybe, because if something's in the works, right, if something's being produced, especially like if it's a big ship, because ships symbolically talk to me about projects. So it can talk to me about like a family situation, like your home and everybody in it, like or it can talk to me about like a workplace or a work project. It's like I'm gonna ship it, right? Or a product that's being shipped. So it's funny because Libra keeps coming through with ship analogy as well. So maybe it's like three big ships coming together. It's funny because I was quoting Pretty Woman as well the other day, and I was going, we're gonna build big ships together. I love that scene where he comes out and he's all happy and like Richard Gere's done the right thing. So yeah, I don't know, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. But of course, if something's in the works, it can sometimes be like under wraps, you know, it can be a secret project, it can be under NDA. It's like you can't talk about it at this time. There you go. I kind of want to get you, I like that it's the king with the sword, right? Because it feels very honorable. And there has been this thing about like the throne, right? Everybody like vying for the throne. Like the Ice King and the Fire Queen and stuff like that. What do we have, please? The princess. The princess and the owl. The owl, you've got owl 3 times, so I don't know if owls are particularly symbolic for somebody. They do symbolize like knowledge to me and like sacred knowledge, like high priestess energy. So take that as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. I hope this was helpful to you. I am so curious. My curiosity is piqued. I want in on the project. But yeah, whatever you're up to, Pisces, do take care of yourselves. I hope this reading was really helpful to you. And yeah, just be careful again, like just be careful about like using your phone when you're driving, and concentration when you're driving around cars and things like that. That's a big thing. All right, take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.